Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Welcome back to the Fandom feed, where we dive into the weird and wonderful world of pop culture, science, and everything in between. Today, we're tackling a story that's got us feeling downright concerned. RFK Jr.'s anti-science crusade is taking the White House by storm. So, you might have heard about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the son of JFK and former environmental activist. What you might not know is that he's been spreading some seriously alarming misinformation about vaccines. That's right, folks. This guy is pushing the idea that vaccines are somehow connected to autism, despite overwhelming scientific evidence saying otherwise. Now, the Fandom feed isn't new to debunking conspiracy theories. We've tackled everything from anti-vaxxer movements to flat Earth enthusiasts. But what sets RFK Jr.'s claims apart is that he's actually been spreading this kind of misinformation to the White House itself. Yes, you heard that right. The man who's supposed to be pushing for public health and safety is instead peddling dodgy science. The thing is, vaccines are one of the most thoroughly tested medical interventions in history. We're talking decades of research, thousands of studies, and a consensus among experts that they're safe and effective. But RFK Jr. isn't having it. He's claiming that the vaccine industry is hiding the truth from us and that we should just do our own research. Well, folks, that's exactly what we do on the Fandom feed's separate fact from fiction. So let's take a look at some of the evidence. A study published in the journal Pediatrics found no link between vaccines and autism. In fact, the study suggested that vaccines might actually reduce the risk of certain autoimmune disorders. But RFK Jr.'s response was to claim that this study was censored by Big Pharma. The problem is, folks, Big Pharma isn't trying to censor science. It's just trying to sell you a product that works. And when it comes to vaccines, there's no shortage of evidence supporting their safety and efficacy. We've got randomized controlled trials, observational studies, and even some surprisingly compelling animal data. Now I know what you're thinking, this all sounds pretty convincing. But here's the thing, the Fandom feed isn't just about winning arguments, we're about promoting critical thinking. So let's take a closer look at RFK Jr.'s claims. Have his sources been credible? Are they based on sound science? Unfortunately, it turns out that RFK Jr.'s sources are pretty sketchy. He's been relying on fringe scientists and pseudoscientists who have a vested interest in discrediting the vaccine industry. And when you dig deeper, you start to see a pattern of misinformation and cherry-picking data. So what does this mean for us? Well, it means that we need to be extra vigilant when it comes to public health. We can't let conspiracy theories get ahead of science, no matter how compelling they might seem. And that's why we're here on the Fandom feed, to separate fact from fiction and promote a culture of critical thinking. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Fandom feed, where we explore the weird and wonderful world of pop culture, science, and everything in between. Join us next time when we'll be diving into more stories like this one.